Good afternoon, everyone. Today I am going to discuss about dual cone, polar cone, and Parkh's lemma. It is all these are part of separation oracle with respect to convex sets. So it is very much important to study. These are the very important segment of separation oracle to understand in detail. That we need to know what is the dual cone, what is polar cone, and how Parkh's lemma giving a very good application of separation theory. So if I here I am coming to outline of my today's lectures. These are the outline. First, I would recall dual cone from the previous class. In previous class, we had already discussed about dual cone in detail. Then I will go to discuss about polar cone because there is a very interesting kind of relation between polar cone and dual cone. What is the relation? You can say that suppose you are taking a non-empty set S, then with respect to set S, you can define a dual cone. And what is the beauty with the dual cone is that S may be any kind of non-empty set. But once you define a dual set, then dual cone, it happens to be a convex cone. So convex cone is very important concept in the case of optimizing a function. So in optimization, it is playing very important role. And now, once we are having a dual cone, so if you take negative of that dual cone, then negative of a dual cone, it happens to be a polar cone. So there are two approaches to define polar cone. One is by finding the negative of a dual cone, so then resultant cone would be a polar cone. So we can say that S naught, it is a polar cone and happens to be negative of dual cone S star. Once we will cover polar cone, then I will go to discuss about two special cases of dual cone and polar cone. Those are tangent cone and normal cone. Tangent cone, it happens to be a special case of dual cone and with respect to an boundary point. Tangent cone always we define with respect to boundary point of a given set. And also similarly we define normal cone of a set with respect to a boundary point. And we can see the relation between normal cone and polar cone and tangent cone and the dual cone. So it is normal cone, it is having one kind of relation with polar cone, it will behave like a polar cone, and the tangent cone, it will behave like a dual cone. But remember that here point of reference for tangent cone and normal cone happens to be the boundary point of given set. So in that perspective, separating hyperplane is taking very important step that here separating hyperplane is acting like a supporting hyperplane. And if time permit, then I will go to discuss about Parkh's lemma as a separation oracle. So coming to the recap of previous class, that dual cone. So what is dual cone? So first I would like to give a layman definition of dual cone. So consider a set. So before dual cone, I have here given introduced definition of convex cone. So this is the structure of convex cone. It is talking about conic hull of two vector. So if you are having two vector x1 and x2, and if you take a conic hull of these two vector, then the resultant would be a convex cone. That is the definition right way to define a convex cone or construct a convex cone from two given vector. Now, dual cone of a given set. So for that perspective, I am giving here a layman definition of a dual cone of a given set. So consider S is a non-empty set, then dual cone of S, we can define it like this way: S star. S star, it is containing, or simply we can say that it is a collection of direction in such a way that set S lies in the positive half space of those directions. All, so it is a S star, it is a collection of direction in such a way as the given set S lies in the positive half space. This is the layman definition. So here I have given one picture. So if you take C is a set, given set, you can see that C is a non-convex set. So C may be any kind of, whether it may be convex or non-convex, there is no issue. But the resultant dual cone, it would be always a convex cone. So now here algorithm how to find a dual cone. So first what you do, find the extreme direction of a given point by considering origin as a reference point. So one extreme direction. So it is having two extreme direction of set C. Find the extreme directions, all possible extreme directions need to find. Here it is having two directions. One direction is this, we are calling this one D1, extreme direction D1. Another extreme direction for given set C is this. So we got the extreme direction. First step is already over. Now second step is that find the perpendicular of these two extreme directions. So, and those direction I am giving name to D1 star. It would be perpendicular to D1, and you can call D1 star. It is defining extreme direction of dual cone. So D1 star, it is perpendicular to extreme direction of the given set C, perpendicular, and another extreme direction uh, dual direction would be D2 star. So D2 star, again it would be perpendicular to D2, extreme direction of the given set. So likewise, we have already constructed two extreme direction. So this is the this is a D1 star perpendicular to extreme direction D1. So I am calling D1, this one D1 star, and then find the perpendicular direction of D2, that we denote it by D2 star. Now third step of finding dual cone is that find the conic hull of these two extreme dual direction, D1 star and D2. So find the conic hull. That means find all non-negative linear combination of D1 star and D2 star. So it will give a convex cone, alpha times D1 star plus alpha 2 times D2 star. So you got the convex cone. That convex cone is our desired dual cone of the given set. So we can give notation of this one. This convex cone is what? It is your C star. That means your dual cone of C. And from the image also you can observe that the given set C, it happens to be a subset of its dual cone C star. So dual cone always happens to be a convex cone. This criteria, this is a layman approach to define a dual cone. So I would like to go for an algebraic definition of dual cone. So how can we define? So again I am going to consider a non-empty set in Rn, and the dual cone of S we can define, that means S star we can define as collection of all the direction such that A transpose X greater than equal to S for every X in S. It says that your for all these direction A which are in dual cone S star, this set S happens to be in the positive half space. This relation, it says that your set S happens to be in positive half space. This is the set theory or algebraic definition of a dual cone. And there are few properties. Dual cone always happens to be closed convex cone. Further, if you are defining a dual cone for a given set, then the set itself is a subset of its dual cone. And vice versa, what will be if you take double dual, then equality would come here. And these are the further relation you can look into. Here I have taken one example, like we are taking K is a given set. Yeah, it is very nice. It looks a cone as convex cone structure. Then it is very fine if it is convex cone. Now we will try to find a dual cone of this given set K. So what we do, we will take here, we have taken one direction y. With respect to y, we are defining a hyperplane. This is the hyperplane. So here, after seeing the hyperplane, we can observe that this hyperplane is acting like a separating hyperplane. We separate K and outside world in such a way K falls in positive half space of the hyperplane associated with y. So simply we can say that y is an element of dual cone of K. Y belongs to, that means y belongs to K star. But if you take here in the next example, in this picture, if you are taking a point Z and by considering Z as a direction, normal direction, and we are drawing a hyperplane, then clearly we can observe that this hyperplane with respect to Z, it is not separating K. Here we can observe that uh, some element of K are uh, in both side of the this hyperplane, both in negative half. Some element are in also in negative half space, some element are also in positive half space. So clearly we are unable to find separating hyperplane with respect to Z direction. So Z definitely it will not give a uh, it would be not a element of dual cone of this set. That means Z does not belong to K star. I have already given both a kind of example when you will how to find uh, element of dual cone. Now I'm coming to define polar cone, and then I will find a relation of polar cone with dual cone. So what is polar cone? So here first I would like to again give a layman definition. So consider a non-empty set S in Rn, then the polar cone of S, it can be defined in a very layman way, that it is talking about it is collection of all the direction such that the underlying set S, it is in the negative half space. Remember that in last case I had mentioned that for dual cone the set must be in positive half space for the corresponding direction coming from dual cone. But here for polar cone, the underlying set should be in the negative half space. With respect to direction, that one is coming from S naught. So this is the difference between polar cone and dual cone. So here one example we have already taken. So consider a set C. Again, I will talk about algorithm. The first criteria is that find extreme direction. D1 directly I'm giving. I had already mentioned about extreme direction how to find. So this set C is having two extreme direction. One is D1, another one is D2. What you do here, you will remember that here if you draw perpendicular to this then this will and perpendicular, so this one is D1, star, it is dual direction with respect to d1, dual extreme direction, and draw here perpendicular. So it is already given here perpendicular. Actually, better consider that what you do. So in order to calculate dual cone, so sorry, polar cone. So I would like to give another name of this one. So this one is perpendicular to d2. So call it d2, d2o, and this one is perpendicular. This direction is perpendicular to d1. So call this one d1o. Then here you got the, in second step you got new direction d1o and d2o. You can call this direction as a polar direction, just for the sake of simplicity. It is not a very hard definition. So just for the sake of simplicity, you can call it polar direction. So you got two extreme polar direction. Now, by considering this extreme polar direction as a extreme direction, construct a conic hull of these two new direction. That means alpha 1 times d1 naught, d1 naught plus alpha 2 times d2 naught. So this is the conic hull of new constructed direction d1 naught and d2 naught, and this resultant cone, it would be a convex cone and closed as well. So this cone we denote by C naught, and this C naught we are calling it polar cone of the given set C. So easily we can see that there is only one intersecting point between C naught and C, that maximum possibility there would be that the origin or reference point might be intersected point, otherwise they might be disjoint as well. So here disjoint criteria is coming. So at most this point might be a common point or sharing point, otherwise there would be no sharing. Okay, fine. Because, okay, let me complete. So also you need to see the dual structure. So it is a perpendicular to dual cone. You have to observe the dual cone as well in the graph. So what you do whenever you are finding polar cone, in the process of finding polar cone, also you just try to find dual cone as well in order to see the relation between polar cone and dual cone. In next slide, I will talk about the relation between polar cone and dual cone. So here, so this cone, it is a polar cone, and this, sorry, this cone, it is a dual cone. It is a dual cone, or notation of dual cone we are calling it C star, and this cone is C naught. Uh, it is a polar cone. This is the polar cone. So with respect to a given set, we are getting two very interesting kind of cone. One is a polar dual cone C star, another one is polar cone C naught. Both happens to be closed and convex cone. Both are closed and convex cone. That is the beauty of constructing these special kind of cone. Okay, fine. I'm going to algebraic definition of the polar cone. So how can we define algebraic definition? So algebraic definition, it will come like this way. S naught, it can be defined like this way. It is a collection of all the direction such that this set, underline set, it would be in the negative half space. What does it mean? It says that dot product or inner product A transpose X is less than equal to 0 for every X or every element of the set Yes. So this is the definition of algebraic definition of polar cone. The same definition you can modify like this way, and little bit you can do little bit manipulation, then you can modify like this way, then there is a further modification, and then further you can modify like this way. Remember that while doing modification you have to put condition that the direction, underlying direction, must be non-negative, because you may have to divide magnitude of this direction, so that's why it must be non-negative, or support kind of things you need to divide it, so that's why. So all these modification leads to that uh, the S naught polar cone of a given set, it happens to be negative of dual cone of S. Here same thing, same example I have taken it. So you, what you do, you draw both the cone. So first is draw the extreme directions. So d1 is extreme direction of the given set, d2 is the extreme direction of given set, and then find the dual direction, extreme direction. So it is one extreme direction, it must be perpendicular to d1. So plot might not looks very clear, but here I am giving a sense that it is perpendicular to d1. So this one, this direction we are calling it d star, d1 star, that means dual direction, dual extreme direction. Again further find the perpendicular to direction d2, so it will give your dual direction d2, d2 star. Now this is for 12 cone. Now in order to get polar cone, what you find perpendicular to d2 in opposite direction. This one is perpendicular to d2, so in that process you give name to this is d naught. This one is perpendicular to d1, we are calling it d naught. So it is one way you can say that what is d2, uh, d2 naught, d2 naught, it is just negative direction of uh, d2 star. Here it doesn't look like in that category, but it is negative direction of d2 star, because both the d2 naught and d2 star are perpendicular to d2, and d1 naught is just negative direction of d1 star. So this is the criteria of defining dual cone and polar cone. So everything I have already defined in the same picture. You can look into that. Now I will discuss more important kind of dual cone and polar cone. Those are tangent cone and normal cone. So in order to study tangent cone, first I would like to introduce direction cone, then I will go to discuss about tangent cone. So what is the direction cone? So consider as set S, then direction cone of S, it can be defined algebraically here. On first layman definition, it is direction cone of a given set. We are calling it, it is a collection of all the directions such that if you move a little bit, epsilon step size along that direction from a point, boundary point x bar, then you are not leaving that set, you remain in the same set, then we can say that the associate direction is a element of direction cone. This is the layman definition of direction cone. Similarly, what is the tangent cone? Tangent cone, it is talking about directions such that S is in the positive half space of a supporting hyperplane. Remember that we are talking about very specific kind of separating hyperplane. That one is supporting hyperplane at point x bar. This is the difference between tangent cone and dwell cone. Dwell cone is very here reference point. It would be a just you are just going to the given convex set itself. You don't need to find origin as a reference point. Here your reference point has been changed. It is now boundary point of the given set. Yes. So we tried to define tangent cone as a dwell cone where reference point happens to be a boundary point of the given set. That means the half space we define with the help of a supporting hyperplane at x bar. So here you can observe that here we are having a set chi, and this set, with respect to this set, we will define first tangent cone, then we will define normal cone. So tangent cone, it is, this is the tangent cone. You can observe that if you take uh, this direction as a direction and define hyperplane, then definitely it would be, the set would be in the supporting in the positive half of the supporting hyperplane. Positive half of the, so this is x bar positive, so it happens to be for all these direction. This given underlying set happens to be in positive half of supporting hyperplane. So here we have taken only one extreme point, boundary point. You can take a variety of boundary point. So now with respect to same boundary point, we can define normal cone as well. So I will give definition of normal cone in next slide. So what here further algebraic definition of tangent cone I am here giving. So what is the algebraic definition of tangent cone? It says that it is the collection of direction in such a way there exists a very small step side in such a way if you proceed in the direction of A from the boundary point x bar, then you remain in the same set. And in such cases, such collection of direction we are calling, it is forming a cone. That cone we are calling it a direction cone. Now if you uh, willing to define tangent cone, it is talking about that what you do, it is a collection of all those direction in such a way. If you define supporting hyperplane, remember if you define supporting hyperplane, this is a, a transpose x minus x bar, it will define supporting hyperplane. If you equate to 0, then I had already discussed about definition of supporting hyperplane. What was the definition of supporting hyperplane? It is a transpose x equal to a transpose x bar. Remember that x bar is what? X bar is your boundary point of the given set. So x bar is, so here bias is not a very general kind of bias. It is a very specific bias defined in term of boundary point x bar. So that's way. So the corresponding separating hyperplane we call it supporting hyperplane. So with respect to that supporting hyperplane, we are getting two half spaces and for and collection of all the direction where uh, the given set happens to be in positive half space with respect to that supporting hyperplane, then such kind of collection of direction we are calling it tangent direction, tangent cone. So here graph you can observe it here. So this is x bar. With respect to x bar, take all these directions and take any direction, all these directions. If you take any direction and you define a supporting hyperplane by considering those directions as a normal, then definitely you will get a suppose if you take this one, what would be perpendicular to this, like this one. So definitely, what is the normal direction of this one? This is the normal direction. So with respect to this normal direction, it's coming, and if you define a supporting hyperplane. Remember, I'm not saying a general word separating. I'm saying supporting hyperplane. So if you define this supporting hyperplane, it separates the set at it support the set at point x bar, boundary point x bar. So this one is your supporting hyperplane at x bar, comma, in the direction of d. Take a particular direction d. So this is direction d, in a direction d. Easily we can observe that this set, where is this set? This set in positive half space. So such collection of direction is forming a cone. That cone we are calling it tangent cone. Similarly, coming to define normal cone, what does it say? So I will give here layman definition. Consider a non-empty set S, and we can define normal cone. It would be a collection of all the directions such that S would be in the negative half space with respect to supporting hyperplane at boundary point x bar. Remember that x bar is a boundary point. Again, I am saying it. So here one example you can look into that. So this cone structure is a normal cone. You can observe that if you take any direction in this cone, and if you define a hyperplane, supporting hyperplane that support the set at point x bar, then you can easily observe that for this with respect to this hyperplane, so I would call this one is in this direction is an element of a normal cone, so I am giving name n. So with respect to this direction, normal direction n, we are getting a supporting hyperplane where the set it is in the negative half space. It is in the negative half space with respect to a direction vector that one is coming from normal negative half space. So this is the definition of layman definition of normal cone. So here I would like to give a algebraic definition of normal cone. What does it say? Consider as non-empty subset. Then how can we define normal cone at supporting hyperplane with respect to supporting hyperplane? So it is saying that again normal cone, it is a collection of all the direction in such a way the supporting hyperplane divides the set into two part, region into two part, where set happens to be in negative half space. This relation is saying that the underlying given set is in the negative half space with respect to supporting hyperplane. I'm not saying here separating supporting hyperplane. And if you do little bit manipulation, you can write it like this way. And what kind of definition this one? This one is talking about negative of tangent cone. So you can say that normal cone is negative of tangent cone. Here the relation you can observe that. Every relation you can observe through plot. And I have taken more example. Several normal cone has been taken here. If you are taking a single point, there will be infinitely many normal cone, so complete a space except that point. If you are taking a line segment, then you observe two normals, this side and this side, so it is having two normal. If you are taking a closed convex set and with a smooth boundary, then at every boundary point we observe only one normal, and that means the normal cone at this kind of point happens to be a ray, outward ray, outward direction. If you are taking a triangle shape, simplex kind of thing in 2D, then again at corner point you observe a collection of normal direction. Collection of these are the collection infinitely many normal direction at corner point, because at this point the boundary is not differentiable. So due to that non differentiability, you are getting infinitely many uh, normal direction. Similarly, at this point, corner point, you will get normal direction between these two extreme direction. That means your normal cone at the extreme point where boundary is not differentiable, you will get a cone kind of structure. You are getting a cone structure. For this simple. Now I'm coming to define last part of today's lecture. That one is separation oracle, in which I will discuss about Farkas lemma. So what does Farkas lemma say? So I will give two different view of Farkas lemma. One is geometric view. So what does it say? Geometrically, it says that if you are taking n n number of vectors, with respect to that, it forms a matrix A by considering those vectors as a column, and you are taking another vector, then you say B, it would be in the cone constructed by this polyhedral cone constructed by given vector A1 up to A. If we can write B as a conic combination of this given uh, the the as a conic combination of the column of A. If you are able to write B as a conic combination of the column of A, then we say that B is in the cone. Otherwise, there is alternative definition. Otherwise, if B is not in the cone, then definitely we can say B, it is not in the cone. Then according to separating theorem, we can always separate, we can find a direction y such that with respect to this normal direction, we can find a separating hyperplane which will separate B and the cone constructed by columns of A. So you can give name of this cone C. C is what? It is talking about collection of X such that a polyhedral cone. We are giving a definition of poly. So these are the polyhedral cone, or in simple you can say that this cone is constructed by column of the matrix A. So this is the, it happens to be closed convex cone. This is the geometric. So this condition, this scenario and this scenario both are a strong alternative. That means existence of one or truthness of, if one is true, then definitely other will be false. If suppose this one is true, then definitely it will be false. If suppose this one is true, then definitely it will be false. Both can't be true at the same time. Both are very strong alternatives to each other. This is the essence of Farkas lemma geometrically. If you want to see algebraically, then we can define as two uh, first criteria that B is in the convex cone. We can write in algebraic terms, algebraic infinity, where xi happens to be all non-negative. So we say that this one is also saying that B is in the cone of columns of A, and second system it is saying that if B is not in the cone of A, then clearly there is a separation between cone constructed by column of A and the given vector V, and definitely it will talk about, definitely there will exist a normal direction Y. So with respect to Y, we can get a hyperplane that will bisect, that will bifurcate or separate point B and column, convex cone constructed by column of A. So this is the algebraic view of Farkas lemma. So these two are alternative to each other. Thank you. Thank you for attending today's class. In next class, we will discuss, we will start convex set, convex function. Convexity of set is already completed. So in next class, we will start convex set, convexity.